Hello and welcome to today's video. We're going to be talking about perfect square trinomials and how to complete the square. Your success criteria is that you're going to be able to find the C value that will make your quadratic a perfect square trinomial, and then just being able to recognize perfect square trinomials, how to factor them, and then how to use them as completing the square will probably be a second video. So let's just talk about what a perfect square trinomial is. And I'm actually going to go backwards with it and look at the factors first and then go back to the perfect square trinomial. So what we're looking at, again, just using numbers, if I have 4 squared, I know it is 16. So that's kind of the same thing we're talking about here. We call 16 a perfect square. That is a number that is a perfect square, very similar to a perfect square trinomial. And so the way we got 16 was we took 4 and squared it. So the way we're going to get our perfect square trinomial is we are actually going to take a binomial. We're just going to call it a plus b, and we're going to square it. So if I take a plus b squared, then what I need to do is always break it apart into its 2, a plus b and a plus b. And then I'm going to run FOIL on it, which is a squared as first, outside, then your inside is also ab, your last is b squared. And then when I simplify it, what I get is 2 times a times b plus b squared. So that is actually what a perfect square trinomial's form looks like. Okay, so it is a squared plus 2 times a times b plus b squared. So in order to find what we're calling our C value here, what you've got to look at is this 2, okay? And so we're going to, if you have a problem, I'm going to go ahead and jump on down to number 1. If you have a problem like x squared plus 4x plus c, in order to find c, what we're going to do, again, remembering that 2, is we're just going to take that 4 and we're going to divide it by 2, okay? And that's going to give us 2, and then all we have to do is square that. Okay, and then square it. So 4 divided by 2, we're always going to divide it by 2 and square it, which makes C equal to 4. Okay, so if I did, let's do another one. I'm going to jump, no, I might just go ahead and do 2. So if I take a negative 2 divided by 2, I get a negative 1. Then I'm going to take a negative 1 and square it, and I get a positive 1. So in this case, C is a positive 1. Okay, so steps on doing this. 1, we're going to divide, okay, b by 2, then square the result. Okay, so that's going to be our step. So we're going to take, in this case, our b is 18. We're going to take 18 and divide it by 2. We're going to get 9. We're going to take 9 and square it, and we're going to get 81. So our C in this case is 81. Okay? So take a second and try number 4 and see if you can do it. What would C need to be? Okay? Hopefully you said 24 divided by 2 is 12. 12 squared is 144. So that is what C is. Okay? Next one. Take a minute and try that one. Okay? Might not have given you enough time, but in this case, 5 divided by 2 does not come out even. So we're actually taking that number and squaring it because there's no simplification that I can do. So in this case, I would get 25 over 4, and that would be what C is. Okay, now with that in mind, try number 6. Okay, so it is 3 divided by 2. Again, that does not come out even, so I'm just going to go ahead and square my result, and I get 9 over 4. Okay, now let's talk about how I know this works. So I'm going to go back up to number 1 real quick. And this is now my problem. So we're just going to double check to make sure that works. So I'm going to factor this, okay, into two things. Well, the only way to get an x squared is x and x. The next thing I want is I want factors of 4 that add and give me 4. And of course, if I tried 1 and 4, that doesn't work, guaranteed. But if I take 2 and 2, that gives me 4. And there is my 2. Okay? Now I want you to notice that the 2 is the same as the number right there. Okay? So let's do another one. So if I have, I'll just do 3. Okay? X squared plus 18x plus 81. Okay? X and x, so they're both going to be positive. So what are factors of 81 that add and give me 18? Again, if I use the same rule without even factoring it, if I use the same rule down here, remember it is what I squared, the 9. Or it is the b divided by 2, the 9. Either way you want to look at it. So what are factors of 81 that equal 18? 9 and 9. Okay? And how we would write this is the important part that goes into our next set. Instead of writing it as x plus 2 times x plus 2, we call it x plus 2 squared. This would be x plus 9 squared. Okay? So again, the rule is divide your b by 2 and then square the result. Of course, if the result simplified first, then you would do that. But if not, like number 5 and 6, you would just square your fraction. Okay? So that is how to find your C value. Okay? And then looking at 1 and 3, that would be how we would factor it to now have our perfect square trinomial and then how it factors. Okay? So that is the step that we're going to be doing when we complete the square.